Welcome back to the Locks of the Day podcast. This is episode 96. Here with Zach. NFL season's over, but that doesn't stop us. We got NBA, NHL, and some college basketball locks for you ready to go. All premium picks here. All 2 and 3 star plays, all 2 and 3 unit plays. Um, Zach, you want to kick us off with your first NBA pick?
NBA pick that we have today is going to be Nuggets -7 at a -110. They're taking on the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets took actually the first game in this matchup, kind of surprisingly, considering they're 13 and 32 on the season. They took that one in Brooklyn, going back to Denver in this one. The Nets have lost 5 in a row. The Nuggets have lost 3 of 5, but these two teams look a little bit different, even though you would think one's 31 and 16, one's 12 and 13 or 12 and 33. They're both pretty banged up for the most part. They've been missing guys pretty much all year, but the Nuggets have found a way, even with a pretty much a G League lineup, to still win games and keep their stretch going. And I think the big thing for that is that the Nuggets are ranked top 10 in offense in pretty much every category because they're top 5 in points, they're top 3 in field goal percentage, they're number 1 in 3-point percentage. They're number 4 in free throw percentage. The list kind of goes on. Even with all their guys out, with Jokic being out, with Aaron Gordon being out, Christian Braun is out. These guys have found a way to win, and I think a big part of that is going to be their depth. Compared to what the Nets have put out there, the Nets don't have the depth to really keep up, which is why with the Nets injuries, they have struggled to win these games. I think that's going to be a big one. I think the only way that the Nets can keep this one close is their rebounding. These guys have like 4 centers, so they're number 1 in rebounds, they're number 2 in offensive rebounds, and they've done a good job with that. But looking at what they're putting out there tonight, as of right now, with uh, Cam Thomas being out, that's arguably one of their best players. And then considering Noah Clowney might be out, Igor Demon and Zaire Williams are already out tonight as well, according to what the report says right now. So they're already missing a good chunk of guys. Not to mention they don't have too much depth to go with it. As of right now, the only guys out tonight are for the Nuggets are going to be Jokic, Christian Braun, and Aaron Gordon. So with Jamal Murray playing with some of these young guys and the success that they're having, the Nuggets are still putting it all together, almost doubling their wins compared to their losses. So I do think -7 in this one's a little bit low, considering that the first matchup did go the way of the Nets by almost 15 plus. And I don't think Michael Porter Jr. is going to have the same game that he had last time against the Nuggets if he's playing in this one as well. So I do think Nuggets -7's got some good value, especially with how good they've been offensively. And I think you're kind of going to see the same thing that you saw last game with the Nuggets and the Nets. Might be 130, 115, but in favor of the Nuggets instead in this one. I'm going to take that advantage of the home court. They just had a really close game without a lot of their big guys against the Pistons, who's one of the best teams in the league as well. So I think they're looking to avenge that loss. Meanwhile, the Nets, they're kind of floundering again at 5 straight losses once again. So, oh yeah, we're going to take the Nuggets in this one at the -7. That's going to be a 2 star at a -110. I'll kick it over to you.
Perfect. Love that. Yeah, the Nuggets are literally the best shooting the three ball team in the league right now, but I'll give you my 3 star right now, and it'll be Miles Turner of the Milwaukee Bucks over 6.5 rebounds at a -105. I think this line is set pretty low, seeing that Giannis is out, and on the Wizard side, you have Bagley out, and Alex Sarr is day to day. So Wizards are looking thin down low. Turner isn't really a big rebounder, but defensively he protects the paint and he's a shot blocker. And if the Wizards run a small ball offense, and just try to create shots rather than driving to the hoop, Turner's going to get his rebounds. The Wizards don't shoot the ball well. They're towards the bottom in almost every shooting stat. They chuck up over 36 threes per game, and they're making 12 on average. So Turner should be able to get his. And with Giannis being out, Bucks' main rebounder is usually Bobby Portis. But if Alex Sarr plays, Portis will probably be guarding Sarr because he's more of a reliable defender and more quick on his feet than Turner. Turner's more like a just get up and block shots guy. So I think that's going to leave more opportunities for Turner there to get rebounds. And also, this is the fourth game between the Bucks and the Wizards. Turner in the game in those 3 games, previous games, he's had 3 rebounds, 7 rebounds, and 8 rebounds. So he's cleared this line 2 out of 3 times. And those other 3 times, Giannis did play, and he had 15, 7, and 14. So that's fucking 30 rebounds right there that Turner should be getting. So I think he should easily clear this line of 6.5. The alt lines are probably beautiful. Maybe Turner for a little double double tonight. But yeah, lock in Turner over 6.5 rebounds on a -105. And then we'll get into some NHL. Hockey's been red hot. Watch out, red hot. Lock him in, kid.
It's two-star. We are going with Panthers money line at -160. They're taking on the Blues tonight as of right now. This is one of our split games. Blues actually took the first game right before Christmas, 6-2 in Florida. So we're siding with the Panthers on this one. In this thing, kind of similar to this NBA game I just told you about, Blues have lost 5 in a row. They're starting to falter. They looked like they were getting back on track, getting right back to about 500, and then they've just had the struggles. And meanwhile, the Panthers have won 3 of 5. They're starting to get out of the basement of the Atlantic and start to make a push for that second wild card spot. And it just things just look a little bit different for these two teams right now. It's both these teams do let up a lot of goals. Panthers let up 3.2, but the Blues do let up 3.4. I think the big difference you're going to see is that goals per game, Panthers are scoring 3 goals a game. Blues are only scoring 2.4, and the Blues rank 32nd in goals forward per game. So they are dead last. I think a big thing for the Panthers in this one is they are number one in the league in generating power play opportunities, and the Blues rank 23rd on the penalty kill. That's going to be a big one. I think that's going to be the big difference maker as well. I also just don't see a game where the Blues are going to put up another 6 goals against a guy like Bobrovsky. Even if Bobrovsky doesn't play, I don't see the Blues putting up 6 again in general, because I will give credit to where credit's due. I really don't think that the Blues defense has been that bad this year. I do think Bennington and Joel Hofer have done a pretty good job. It's just the Blues physically cannot put the puck in the net. They've had a lot of 3-2 losses, 2-1 losses, a lot of 1 goal losses because they can't get that extra goal. So I do feel like Florida in this one has the big advantage. And I mean, for a team, like I said, the Blues went out there, they beat these guys 6-2 last time. The Blues are playing at home, and Florida's up -160 as a favorite. So the books are seeing some of that. If the Florida's going to be a massive favorite like this, they're siding with these guys for a reason. And that's kind of what I'm seeing as well. It also doesn't help on the Blues side that Jake Neighbors and Jordan Kyrou are both considered day-to-day/questionable. So one of those guys doesn't play. That can also change that line as well, because those guys are two notable players on that team. But yeah, I think with what the Panthers have in place, especially Panthers are number 2 in the league in save percentage as well, with Probowski in that. So it's a big one, but I think the stats here lie with the Panthers to split this one. They're getting hot. Blues are going cold. And yeah, I mean, I think it's just the Panthers here would be the best way to go. And the Blues are 28th in block shots. So they do allow a lot of shots as well. Not a lot's getting through on Binnington and Hofer. So it's pretty much all we can go with. So Panthers -160 is a 2-star is what we're going to rock with. We'll kick it back over to you.
Perfect. 3-star for tonight for the NHL is going to be Bruins -150 versus the Flyers. Flyers coming off of this will be a back-to-back for them. Bruins have been very solid, solid team this year when least expected. Honestly, they weren't supposed to be that good. A ton of new faces in that locker room, and they've all just seemed to mesh pretty well. So, Bruins sitting at 31-20, well, 3 OT losses. Very surprising. And the Flyers are 24-18 with 9 OT losses. Bruins have a top 4 power play in the league that has produced 42 goals this season. However, the Bruins are the most penalized team, but Flyers have the third worst power play in the league. So, and they only capitalize 15% of the time. So that's, I mean, Bruins also have a lot of fighters too. They got 2 guys on their team that have over 100 plus penalty minutes. So, but Bruins haven't really had a scoring problem this year either. They're top 8 in goals per game, with 3.3. Passes doing this thing with 22 goals and 69 points, which is 6th best in the league. Morgan Geeky, that dude can't stop scoring. He's got 30 goals this season, which is tied for 3rd in the league. He also had the most goals in the 2025 calendar year. And he's just still rolling. He's red hot. He got snubbed from Team Canada, honestly. But main reason why I'm going with the Bruins here tonight is that they're at home. They're 28-1 at home. They're just red hot right now. They're on an 8-game win streak at home. In their last 15 games, they're 14 or 11-4. So lock in the Bruins at a -150. I think that's kind of free money there for 3 units. And then we'll do our college basketball picks. Um, I got a red hot team. Who do you got?
So we in this one for the 2-star, we have North Dakota +13. They're taking on St. Thomas, the Tommies. But in this one, they did play already. This was a home game for North Dakota. St. Thomas won that game 91-80. So they also covered the spread in that one. The spread in that one was 7, and they won by 11. They covered that. And this one, it's much higher, but I do think that these two teams are in some different spots. I was like right at the beginning of conference play for them. Meanwhile, now when you look at the standings, North Dakota's 2 and St. Thomas is 3 right now. St. Thomas is 6-1 in conference play. North Dakota 6-2. North Dakota is 8-2 in their last 10, whereas St. Thomas is 5-5. But both these teams are very solid, despite their record. Seeing North Dakota 12-12, St. Thomas 17-5. North Dakota is still a very good team for 12-12, and that's kind of shown in their conference play. North Dakota is also 3-1 on the road in conference play, and they're 3-1 against the spread. Meanwhile, St. Thomas is 3-0 at home during conference play, but they're 1-2 against the spread. They've had some very tough tests at home, especially too. They've played some similar teams to what North Dakota's played, especially with Denver. Played the University of Denver. St. Thomas only beat these guys by 4, and North Dakota blew them out by 20 plus. So they've played a lot of the same teams because in the Summit, there's not that many. They always play each other twice. And so just going off of that, they're both top 100 offenses. North Dakota's putting up 78 a game. St. Thomas is putting up 81. The big difference maker in this one is that North Dakota gets some more shots, but St. Thomas is more consistent with their field goal percentage. They're actually number 2 right now in the NCAA out of 360 something teams in field goal percentage. So they're
Jeez.
putting up less shots, but they're making their shots, which is the big one. And I do think in this one where North Dakota can definitely cover the spread is because one, these teams have already played, but two top teams in the conference, 13 points, I think is very, very high for a spread. Like, do I think St. Thomas wins? Yeah, I think so. But covering 13 points against a very competitive team that's also proved they can win on the road just seems like way too much. And I think in this one, North Dakota will put up more shots. They have to be more consistent. I think where they're going to win this one too and cover the spread will be on the rebounding end. They average more defensive and offensive rebounds than St. Thomas. They also average more blocks, more steals, more assists. So, I mean, the list kind of goes on. These guys average more in almost every single category because they're putting up more. And I think that's what they're going to have to do. They have to be unselfish, swing the rock, play just consistent enough defense to stay in this game and give themselves a chance to win it. So both these teams are going to be solid. If you got the Summit Network, this might be a little nice mid-major basketball game to turn into tonight. So, but yeah, we're taking North Dakota plus 13 at a minus 110 for the 2-star. We'll swing it back to you for the 3.
All right. 3-star will be Portland State money line. We're going out to the Big Sky versus Montana. Going with Portland State here. They're 13-5, but in conference in the Big Sky, they're 7-0. This team's been red hot. They're the best covering team in the country, hitting at 85% as well. They're 3.5 point favorites tonight. We're not taking that. We don't need to cover. We just want an easy win. We just need a money line. Portland State in conference this year started with 2 overtime wins against Weber State and Idaho State, and since then they've just been perfect, winning the next 5, and with most the recent wins against Eastern Iowa and no Eastern Washington and Idaho, and those games were both away too. Portland State is at home tonight against Montana. In conference, Portland State has been really solid. Obviously, they are only giving up 67 points on average, and Portland State is averaging scoring 75 points per game. So that's a pretty significant margin there for scoring and only giving up 67. And looking at Montana, who they're playing, their out of conference schedule was weak this year, and they lost a majority of those games. They did they did play or they've played 4 non-NCAA Division One teams. One of them was a Division One team, and it was Montana Tech, and they ended up losing that game in December. So that's not a good look for Montana, NAIA team. Have you ever heard of them? I feel like I heard
Yeah,
them for
because they're
football.
I think Montana Tech, I think they're D1 in hockey. And then I
That's what it
think
is.
they're
That's what it is.
yeah, and then they're
Yeah.
either NAIA or like you said, and everything else. That's a
Yeah.
tough look.
Tough look for Montana, the Grizzlies. Tough look for those boys. So I just think Portland State's going to keep rolling in the Big Sky. They're going to get the job done. So I lock in Portland State at minus 165. Put 3 units on that. Yeah, it's a not a good look if you're a Montana Grizzly fan right there. Can't be losing to those NAIA teams there. But you got anything else to add to this one?
That's pretty much about it. Just to keep up to date with the injury reports for certain stuff for us, just to make sure, because we're going to record this. It's 8 a.m. for us,
Mhm.
so the lines will change in 12 hours, and those honestly NBA lines are just those injury reports. You have no idea. We're
Yeah.
going off of what we're seeing. I'm going off of just what I'm seeing right now, but it's set to change. I mean, sometimes when I give you guys some props, it'll be 6 o'clock. They're still in the book. I'm like, oh, nice. 2 hours later, they just don't play. I was like, okay. So that's the thing. Just keep up with it because those lines will change over time too. Because I mean, the lines can change from when we record this to when we put it out. So a whole mix of things can happen. So keep up with those lines and just make sure you're jumping on them early.
Hell yeah.
That's
Hell
about
yeah.
it.
Sweet. That'll wrap up podcast 96. Get those NHL, NBA, and college basketball picks in, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.